Well, from that introduction, you can tell that I found something pretty interesting when I was working on the apartment this week. There is something that happens in a dialogue that I began at about 3:43, 3:45 into this video. And for some reason, there is a hum, kind of a high-pitched whine in my microphone as I am explaining what I am doing and what I am finding as I remove some paneling from the walls in this apartment building. Well, there is a time shortly after that, and you'll find out when that is, that I find a message, and it is from the past. And as soon as I read that message, the whine stops. And kind of interesting, I'm not advocating whatever. I laughed then and I still laugh now when I found that. But it's kind of interesting to note. So enjoy this week's video. So once again, this is the bedroom for the northeast apartment as it exists now. I've taken off all this siding, as you have seen. In this corner there was a closet, pretty flimsy as it was. But here is evidence of the door that came into from the alley forward. It would be apartment number 4. And if we were counting from the main street back, like I think they probably would have done at that time, this should be hotel room number 7. Assuming they went down one side, they probably went back and forth, who knows. But anyway, this is another tall door, and as several of you mentioned in the last video about the hidden doors, that these are so tall because they probably had transom windows in them. And that makes sense. I have another building that also has these transom windows. And when these hotel rooms were a single window room, that would make absolute sense for cross draft to cool this room down. So anyway, this door is here, tall. And then this is where the closet was, as you saw. I took it out. But on this wall here, you can see that there's remnant in the paint where there was something framed in here, and you can also see it on the floor. You can see where the framework came down here and laid on the floor about up to that wall. So my guess is possibly this was a somewhat built-in wardrobe to serve as a closet for your clothes. I don't know that for sure, but the height would be about right for wardrobe style furniture. And part of the reason why I took out this closet as it was, one, it was really poorly and lightly built, so I wanted to get rid of that part of it with all the paneling. You saw how it came apart. But we've been looking into furnishings of the early 1900 era, and we're beginning to think there was probably less built-in accommodations than what we are accustomed to today. So for a place to hang clothes, I may look up more antique wardrobes, armoires, that type of thing to put in as furnishings to have a place for some clothing. So that's just our thought at this time, subject to change day by day, it seems like mainly. But this is an original wall. I think this wall is also an original wall. They're rough sawn 2x4s. They seem to be pretty close to the full 2x4 also. The only thing that makes me hesitate a little bit is if this was at one time lath and plastered, you don't see all the perforation marks for the holes of where the lath would have been. So I don't know that for sure that this was an original wall, or did they just use old rough lumber when they put in this wall for a partition. It's about the right space for a hotel room. The window is pretty well centered in this room, so it kind of tends to lead me to believe that this was probably a hotel room between these two walls. Supposition. Now this is the outside wall, outside brick face, and I did take this piece of paneling off. It is plastered on the brick, has been furred out, which is going to work really well because the furring will already be here to allow me to go ahead and put sheetrock on and get rid of this flimsy panel. Don't you love the color schemes? It's kind of this salmon to a gray green to more like a Kelly green. Yeah, whatever, I guess. And then off to the right here is the bathroom for this apartment. But the interesting thing about these two bathrooms is this bathroom is back to back for the bathroom of the next apartment building, so that they have combined plumbing for water supply, sewer, and all that type of deal. So these are back to back, which I'm speculating was probably also an initial hotel room that they split in half and made bathrooms back to back for each opposite apartment building. But this bathroom, as well as the other bathroom that are back to back, they've been sheetrocked. Kind of echoes in there, doesn't it? They've both been sheetrocked, and the kitchen has been sheetrocked, so I'm not going to remove any wall furnishings from those walls. It's just these walls that have this flimsy paneling on them that I'm going to remove and actually sheetrock. So this is the bathroom that is on the back side of the other bathroom for the other apartment. Well, I've taken out a closet that was also right here, similar that was in the other apartment. So I'm guessing that I probably have a door behind here somewhere. This window isn't quite so centered as the bedroom of the other apartment was. This one is a little more offset. So I don't really know how this door is going to correlate with this room. I think this was a hotel room. I want to take the paneling off of this wall and the opposite wall and this wall that is facing the hallway and see if these are original walls and just where this door is. Now if you remember on the other side where I think there was possibly a wardrobe, there's also a mark here on the floor that there was something positioned there. The end of the flooring stops right there, so I'm again thinking this is original wall. In fact, you can see some of the lath still remaining here, so that would be true. I don't see anything correlating in the paintwork. This evidently was kind of a painted floor. This was the unpainted floor here. So let's take this wall off and see what's behind that wall. Oh, this is funny. I was kind of expecting that I would find something here somewhere, but what's interesting is this note. I gotta love it. Please turn lights off when not needed. Manager. Put on with some Scotch tape. Right underneath this old light switch. That's pretty cool. I do love it. That's pretty funny. It's nice that they left that there. What am I going to do with that, huh? So here is our old door, kind of as suspected. It's actually right opposite the window. Anyway, that's pretty slick. I grew up in a home that had push button lights in it. It has some blown in insulation here. When Diane and I bought this building in 2003, one of the first things we did is we blew in insulation in the very top underneath the roof. These are drop ceilings, so that they're not in the ceiling, but they're in the original ceiling up in that attic area. Well, there must have been a hole up there or something. Some of this has filtered down because this is the material we blew in. That's kind of interesting. So this is the original wall. I'm curious about this one. Okay, so this is still original plaster over top of lath. So these two walls were original walls. This was a hotel room by itself. The window's offset, the door is offset, but this was a room. So as I head from this room back toward Main Street, the next room as apartment goes is a kitchen. And this is a wall outside that I wasn't sure if I could distinguish if there was a door there or not. I'll take some paneling off of that. If that is an original wall, then this room actually encompassed two windows. So I don't know that, but the placement there, why would there be a wall original here and then a door there? I'm a little puzzled on the placement of the walls. Was this a two-window hotel room? Let me check this back wall here. This is paneling, fairly solid paneling there. This side is paneling and it's kind of spongy. I think I'll take some paneling off of this side to see what is on this inside again. Now, a number of you have asked if there was possibly a bathroom, community bathroom up on this second floor. I don't know that answer to this point. This still has the original plaster, so this also is an original wall. So my conclusion at this point, with the evidence that we have, that this room to our left, which is now the kitchen, top of the stairs to the left, was a double window hotel room. Interesting. So this is what is now a living room, and it's fairly long, 2 windows, and this one has a double window to this back door. I'm not sure what's underneath this yet. We'll find that out. But under this wall here, somewhere in this area, should be the door on the outside that we saw that was plastered over. Should be the doorway into this apartment, and that back door would have been the doorway into that back, very back room. This is where the partition wall would have been, and the doorway is to the left. So this is the door molding here. As we come in, I have an outlet here, and I thank you all for educating me in the last video that these little clips that are holding these electrical boxes onto this paneling are actually called Madison clips. I learned something. Thank you. Yep, I'm just gonna cut around that. So our door into, which would be from Main Street, our second apartment. So it's looking like instead of 10 hotel rooms on the north side, we have 9, with one being a double window room on the south side, and evidently we have one that is a double window room on the north side. Learn something every day. Furred it out going laterally instead of vertically. Somebody's new and better idea. Well, I took off the paneling around this door. It's the back door to this living room, and it says the Main Street is right here. So this is the front of the building. This possibly is hotel room number 1, depending on which side of the building number 1 started with. This also has the sign of being a very tall door, possibly this transom window in it too. And the possibility of putting those tall doors back in is non-existent. The ceiling in this hallway has been dropped, so the height of the ceiling is now below the top of what these doors used to be. So if I do pursue my harebrained idea of putting false doors in here and sheeting these off inside, I'll have to do just the regular size door. It won't have the full height transom, but that's not a big deal to me. I'm just kind of interested in having that hallway appearance as it would have been in 1906 on until possibly the early 60s. This Luther Smith family, he owned this building until the 1940s. So I'm presuming that it would have been a hotel through that whole time frame. Possibly after he sold it, it might have been converted into apartment buildings. But anyway, that's the last door on what would be the north side. So I have been corrected in my calculations. There are 9 rooms on the north side, and it appears to be 9 rooms on the south side. And it's not really until I strip some of this paneling off that some of those items actually showed up. One door that I'm not going to be able to probably find out inside, and that's going to be the room that now houses the 2 bathrooms back to back. There's probably a door that would have addressed that room as well, but there's now a partition wall between the two, so I won't be able to see that from the inside. I'll probably still put a door on the outside of that, so where we would be able to tell that there was a door there, but there's no paneling to take off because that room has been sheetrocked. So I'm enjoying the exploration of seeing what this building was a little closer in its initial original state. It's kind of interesting to me. So I appreciate you following along, and any input is more than welcome. Some of you have mentioned that this is a lot of work just to turn around and rent it out again and have tenants tear it back up. That's not where my intention is to go. I would like to put this back complete with furnishings that are perhaps more period correct in that time. That will be an ongoing process. So that's why I'm taking the time to go through and bring this back to a 1906, 1910 era of what it would have been in its heyday and in its prime. Anyway, with all that said, I appreciate you following along. Please turn lights off when not needed. Manager. Put on with some Scotch tape.